Well, hey Yardners, it's a beautiful sunny day here in the Pacific Northwest here in Willamette Valley, Oregon. And today I'm going to be trimming this hydrangea bush. This video is specifically for a friend who asked me just a couple days ago, how do I trim my hydrangea? Well, there's a lot to that question, right? Like, what kind of hydrangea do you have? There's a lot to know, and I'm not saying I know everything, but I do know a few things about trimming the hydrangeas in my yard, so I thought I would take you along as I make some decisions and do some trimming back of my hydrangeas today. So the hydrangeas that I have in my yard primarily are what are called macrophylla hydrangeas. So these would be like little lime. I have a limelight prime. I have ones that basically create branches, and then there's one bloom head at the top of that branch. Usually color of those would be like white, kind of starting as actually more of a green, like a chartreuse green, and then going into white, or then fading into like a pinkish color. So that's the one that's here, and it was beautiful this fall, but I wanted to try to save some of the bloom heads on here. And what happens here in the Pacific Northwest is it gets so incredibly wet that if I leave these for very much longer, I won't be able to use them for any like decorating or crafting, because they will start to mildew and mold. So it's really important now that there's like a break in the rain that I get these trimmed back, and it's good for the bush as well, or the plant. So I'm going to be showing you how I make some decisions on cutting back my hydrangea. So just to take you on a quick tour of some of the hydrangeas in my yard, I mean, they're showing me some really beautiful color right now. And I'm actually going to leave some of the other ones. I'll show you those in a minute. But today I would like to save some of these for some decor. I'm going to decorate some of my outdoor trees for the holidays. So you can see here's a branch where I already clipped back 2 of the bloom heads. And basically, like I said, this video is for a friend. If you're my friend, you know who you are, who asked me this question. For this one, I told her, consider it kind of like deadheading. So basically, you take the branch down to a node, and you can also, you know, size control your bush. So if you want to go a little further down to a node because you want the branches to get, you know, shorter, then you can do that at this time. For me, I really want this to get taller a little bit, and then I might do more size control. So I'm leaving the branches pretty long. Also, for the decorating I'm going to do, I only need probably an inch or 2. Like, I really don't need very much, but I do want to get these drying, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Some of them have turned a little bit to more of like that mildewy look, which is so unfortunate, but I can hit these with a little spray paint. I've done that in the past during the holiday season, which is kind of a fun trick. And also, I would just like to get them drying. So I'm going to be harvesting basically the blooms to try to do a project with. Over here, I've got my 2 limelight primes, and I am going to leave these up only because we can see them through our window of our family room, and so I'm going to leave these ones for now, and just because I am enjoying them in this spot. This one over here I don't really see as much, so that's why I'm choosing this one to harvest. Let me show you another hydrangea in my yard that I have already done this process with. So over here in this corner, it's kind of hard to see, but these branches here are this other hydrangea that I've already cut back. And basically I waited for the plant to kind of defoliate, and then once it did that, I went ahead and did this kind of deadheading process. So again, you want to be close to a node, and just with a nice sharp pair of trimmers, preferably, you know, wipe them with a little bleach or alcohol, even in between. Now this is a different kind of hydrangea, and so basically this one is one I'm not gonna, and it's also brand new, it's like a baby. But one of the rules of thumb is if your hydrangea blooms like blue or purple, then those are the type that might bloom on next year's wood, which means that they've already set their buds for the next season. So those are the ones you want to be careful about trimming this time of year. This is the kind of the other hydrangea I have, and now this one I am probably going to trim it back again. I might wait a little bit, but I could approach this basically the same as the other ones. But I am enjoying the color of this one still. It's so beautiful. So this one is going to stay for right now. There's a crow above me, and he is just... Hello, buddy. Hello? So as I'm clipping this bush, I am really trying to pay attention to the branches and how I want this plant to continue to grow for me. So basically, if the branches are, really spindly and kind of just seem like they are just not going to do well, you just trim those off, right? Those are just like some side branches. If you see things crossing, that's another thing I look for. So basically you want to choose like, what are the dominant branches going to be for this plant for its life, right? Like for the longevity of it. So as I was getting in here, I just started, just kind of start with one and work your way down. Another thing to note is that wherever you make a cut, potentially that could sprout and be 2 more branches. So as you're clipping, see this branch is damaged here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. As you're clipping, you can kind of look for that as well. So on this branch right here, I'm going to make a decision. I want this branch to get bigger here and get a little bushier through this area. So I'm going to leave as much of that branch as I can. I still want to go ahead and just act as if I'm like basically deadheading at a node, but leave all the length of that particular branch. Same with this one here. I'm going to take it back not too far, but just where I see that the bloom stalk has basically ended, and it's the last 2 branches with the blooms on them, and then that's where I'm going to take it. And again, I can make some decisions about smaller branches down here at the bottom, and just really kind of helping this plant to go into dormancy and help it retain its energy, I guess is what I'm trying to say, for next season. So this branch was really like down in there, and it was really crossing a lot of other ones, and there's a lot that are the same size as this one. So again, I can make some decisions about which branches I'm keeping. Decisions, I can speak, sorry. This branch is really crossing this other one, so I think I'm going to make a decision here, and I'm going to remove that whole branch. That way it's more of a vase shape. And again, I've clipped this branch here, and so I'm just eyeballing about the same height. I want to keep this kind of round shape of the plant. So I'm considering that as well when I'm making choices. So for my friend who encouraged me to make this video, she said that her landscape people would actually take all her hydrangeas and cut them down to ground level. I don't know of any hydrangea that is what you're supposed to do. So tell me in the comments, is that a thing? Where I'm at and where we're at in Zone 8B, it's not a thing, right? I don't think that was a good practice, but tell me if you think I'm wrong. I think, everyone has different opinions on things. Okay, I'm getting really close to being done now. I just have a few left here, and I've got quite the pile. Probably should have grabbed a paper box or a bag or something to collect these, but whatever. I guess the pile will work. And now these are entwined. What is happening? Okay, let's try this. Oh man. All right, only a few more. Still want to make intelligent choices. Still thinking about where I'm making cuts and things. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna ditch, kind of looking at this branch here. I'm going to ditch that whole branch there. Okay. And again, I want to be a little careful. I want to be a little careful with this one. Again, this is only its first year actually in this spot and only its second year in the ground in my garden. I transplanted it. And so I do want to be a little hesitant. So that is plenty. I did get all the weight from those wet blooms off of these branches so they can go into their basically recovery mode for the winter months, and they can have beautiful blooms for me next year. I'm just going in now and doing a little bit of defoliating, and that will happen naturally, but I like to be able to see the structure of the branches and make sure that things are looking good and that I've made good choices for the health of the plant. And I think I'm going to take this one down right there. Okay, that's probably the most dramatic cut I've made so far. Well, I'm super excited to have all of these blooms. Next is to get them drying. I actually have a dehydrator, so I might try that and I'll let you know how that goes. But for now, I'm just going to get them in a warm, dry place. So I don't really have room in my greenhouse. I think I'm going to start with my garage. I have a little bit more room there. So I'm going to find a box for these and let them just sort of air out and dry out before I decide to do anything with them in the next couple steps. All right, guys, well, that's going to be it for this short project tonight. More to come on my hydrangea harvest and my plans for that. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share it with a friend. And if you need me, I'll be hanging out in my Oregon yard doing some gardening. I'll see you next time. Bye.